Welcome to Halloween Week. This is Mr. Fisher Flips 3rd grade math. We're going to get you started today by making sure that this scary picture goes away. Our agenda today is making sure that you understand, although this is a busy week, we still have many things to do. We're trying to get some things done before the end of this week and get you ready also for the Halloween activities that are going to go on with Red Ribbon Week. We're going to model how to measure. We're going to do a couple activities that you can do at home, and we're going to make sure you're thinking about some things when you measure. And then we're going to do a quick assessment and wish you good luck on this busy week. Well, today, Monday, is I Am a Genius, Red Shirts and Jeans Day. Tuesday, Crazy Hot. Anyway, don't forget the Pumpkin Walk and Halloween. Two of the most important parts of this week are those 2 days. And hope you get into the spirit of this activity because it helps unite our school and make us a better school. Parents, you'll be getting a family letter on Tuesday, and it reminds you that this letter explains how the concept of measurement is developed in math expressions. So it goes over how we go through measurement and how it's taught so that you can understand how Mr. Fisher is trying to explain it to the students. So let's get started with the lesson. I like this quote by Napoleon Hill. Action is the real measure of intelligence. Well, we're going to be measuring your intelligence by measuring length in inches, measuring in half inches, and measuring in quarter inches with rulers. So hopefully you're able to understand that already, but if not, we'll show you how it works. Let's get started with a reminder of some of the digital tools that you can be able to use. This one I'm going to be posting on Monday afternoon. It's the long jump competition. Let's get started with an anytime activity. Tell whether each statement is true or false. If it is false, give an example that shows why. I'm going to let you pause the video so you can see if you can answer all 3 of those questions. Let's go back through all 3 to see if you have them correct. If you multiply 2 even numbers, the product will be even. True or false? I was correct. See, I got it true. If you multiply an odd and an even number, the product will be odd. True. Nope. Try false. Yay, we got it right. If you multiply 2 odd numbers, the product will be odd. True or false? Well, I'm going to think about this one. 3 times 3 is odd. 9 times 9 is odd. I'm going to say true. Hey, I got it right. First of all, I want to show you that when we use the ruler up on the smartboard, it's going to be different than if we use, say, this ruler right here. Well, they are totally different. This is a ruler. Usually you see a ruler in 12 inches long. There are repeating. So if I start here, 1, 2, where am I? I'm repeating at the inch lines, right? What are the repeating units on a ruler? Let's also try it in purple. We also have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we start over. 1, 2, I almost skipped one. Well, the yellow ones that were repeating, what were they? They were inches. The red ones, when I started them, they were repeating by ½ inch. And what were the purple ones? They were repeating by 1/4 inches. So some of you might get confused by that, so let's show another way that we can do this. If we take this red and we measured it, that's 1 inch, right? Well, let's do that again. So I want to show you that every time we use one of these, they're the same length. As you notice, we're measuring, and the red were all the same, the green were all the same size, and the purple were all the same size. And then if you notice, those 4 equaled 1 red. 2 of these green equaled 1 red. Now circle length units and fractions of units to show the length of the line segment. Then write the length. So what it's asking us to do is we're going to circle the units. We have 1 and 2, and it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. It looks like we have 1 extra unit. Now, if I look at that, it's 2 and 1/4, because 1, 2, 3, there's 4 parts between 2 and 3. So it's one of those parts. Let's check our answers to see how we did. 2 1/4 inches. You were correct. Oh, there's how you use the circles. Should have looked at that before. Now you know Mr. Fisher even learns. Okay. Why is this ruler wrong? This one you're going to have to answer on your own, because every one of you will have a different answer, and I want to see your answer to see if you understand why this ruler is indeed wrong. This activity asks you to measure the desk width. Well, you don't have a desk at school or at home. So what I'd like you to do is, instead of a desk, do a kitchen table. You'll notice at the end of this unit, I will also have you print off a paper ruler that you can create for yourself. So there's 3 parts to this. And instead of being group number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, you're going to be student number 1. All of you are going to be student number 1, and then when you get back on Wednesday, we'll check to see how many pencil lengths it were. Well, each of you have a pencil or a pen in your hand that you've been using with your homework. See how long or how wide. So to estimate, you would think, oh, that's about 5 pencil lengths long by pencil length. So if you notice my picture down here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4.5 pencil lengths across. So this would be 4 1/2 pencil lengths across. Then actual desk width in pencil lengths. So, estimate. I forgot. Pencils. And then when you measured it, it'd be 4.5, like we measured before. But then you're going to take your paper rule and you're going to see that it is actually 29 inches across. Now, hopefully your table is a lot wider. Your kitchen table is a lot wider than your school desk. So this is just an example, but I want you to see that you can do that with your pencil or pen, and you can find out the estimate, what you think it should be, what it is actually, and what it is in inches. So make sure you align the one pencil with the end of the desk. Place your finger at the end of the pencil and move back end of the pencil to the point your finger is marking. And so you can actually do this with one pencil. And you can go across with one finger, marking as you go. And then continue until you come to the end of the desk, and make sure you keep track of how many pencil lengths you used. So those are the instructions on how to be able to do that. That's the activity that I'd like you to do. And also make sure, if you are using pencil lengths, try to see if you can do it in 1/2 inches inches, or if you can, also try it in 1/4 inches, which would be 1/4 of the pencils. And we'll just see if you have different results when you get back on Wednesday. Well, there are two different ways to measure. I want you to look at this. And on one side it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the other side it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The top is standard. It is measured in inches. The bottom is metric, measured in centimeters. And just be aware, which one has more units? The one on the bottom has more units. Then the one on the top is spread out. And America, the United States of America, uses standard units. Everywhere else in the world, they measure in metric. So Gavin and Ike went on a vacation, and they probably didn't go in standard units. They had to measure in metric units if they were over there. We'll cut that out. Well, here I wanted to show you that when you measure, I've actually put these three here for you to help you see how to measure, because you don't start right at the beginning of a ruler. You start where it has the 0. That 0 is indented a little bit so you can overlap it. Well, if you have a couple measuring rulers, if this goes down to the end of the ruler, you're not going to start with the ruler right here. Notice you're going to lose almost 1/4 of an inch to the ruler itself. So as you measure, kind of overlap where it starts and where it ends. Well, here's a question I want you to be thinking about. Suppose a truck carrying a huge tank of milk was parked in the parking lot. Which measurements would you use to tell us something about it? Now this one I want you to think about, because on Wednesday when you come back to school, we're going to compare everybody's answers to see what you guys think about how you'd measure that truck. And I do have some that are hidden under here, and we'll look at them on Wednesday. But I want to see what you know before we get to that point. Well, a history of how we got a ruler in the first place. Before units of length became standardized, we used to use other ways of measuring. And one way to measure was used in Egypt. It is called the cubit. And notice it goes from the elbow to the end of one's finger. Well, if a pharaoh decided that his cubit was going to be the standard of measurement, what would happen when his son became the next pharaoh and he was a bit taller than the previous pharaoh? Then the standard of measurement, the cubit, would be changed. Well, we've also used some other ways of measuring. The digit, the top of the index finger where it bends, that's 1 digit. The palm, the width of the palm, and the span, which is the length across the tip of the pinky to the finger, top of the pinky finger to the thumb. And that's called a span. And we're actually going to measure everybody's spans on Wednesday. Be thinking about the truck measurements and come up with a list of the ways that you would measure that truck in the parking lot. And I want you to think about some other things than just how big it is. Well, 2 vocabulary words that I'd like you to work on tonight. And I want you to write these down. We're going to look at line segment and inch. Next time we'll look at frequency and centimeter. But for today, we're going to look at line segment. And we're going to pull it up in our glossary. Line segment is a part of a line. A line segment has 2 endpoints. So part of your homework is to write that down. Part of a line segment has 2 endpoints. And let's look at an inch. An inch is a customary unit used to measure a length. 12 inches equals 1 foot. So write those two things down if you need to go back. And here we have a paragraph. Now this paragraph is actually trying to see if you can keep it in order. And you don't have to do it in this order. It's just the way I wrote it down based on where it happened in the notebook. And so it actually goes backwards. First, write down the vocabulary terms we looked up in your notebook. Then think about the truck problem. After that, print and cut out your paper rulers. Next, finish the measuring activity where you measure your kitchen table. Also do some quick practices on your own, multiplication. Finally, see if you can figure out how you would answer these two problems. So you're actually going to have to draw a line segment that has the given length. And then, how do you measure a line segment to the nearest 1/4 inch? I want to see if you can describe how to do that. Those are the two problems you have. The activity will probably take the longest, and the truck problem I do want you to take some time on. See if you can come up with a list of ways to measure that truck. So that's your homework for tonight. And remember, it is Halloween this week. Don't forget to come to the pumpkin walk. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. on Tuesday night. And that's Mr. Fisher's lesson for tonight. We'll see you on Tuesday night.